Welcome to the AudioRoad Network. It's time for questions from the AudioRoad with Kevin Rutherford. The show is all about the business of trucking. We're live Monday through Friday, midnight Eastern. Call 646-595-4967.
Your money, your taxes, your truck, and your road to success in the trucking industry.
This is Trucking Business and Beyond, the show that puts the money where it belongs.
Back in your pocket.
Welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. It is Tuesday, April 17th. We're here live. Pick up the phone and join me, 8888 Road Dog. If you dial right now, you'll be able to grab a line before they fill up. The show is all about the business of trucking. We'll take your calls and answer your questions about trucks, money, fuel mileage, maintenance, tires, taxes, technology, health and fitness on the road, getting started as an owner-operator, finding freight, working with brokers, getting your authority, you name it. We'll talk about it. All you have to do is pick up the phone and join us. 8888 Road Dog. We're going to get to those calls in just a little bit. Couple things. One, as far as I'm concerned, the 2017 tax season is over. Yes, you could file an extension. It gives you all the way to October. I would get it done, get it in, don't wait. But the reason I'm kind of saying 2017 is over is because we have all of these major tax law changes to start talking about and planning around and thinking about and getting ready to take advantage of. So when I talk about taxes from now on, it's kind of talking about the new tax law because we're already working under that tax law. We started on January 1st. Of 2018. So we're already, 3.5 months into working under those tax laws. But we won't file that tax return until next year. But it's time to start talking about it and planning. I was doing a lot of reading today just on the trucking industry and numbers and where we're going. And the House Republicans just hosted an event, and there was a trucking company executive there. He claims that once the tax law change went into effect, their fleet initiated bonuses and pay increases, and that their turnover rate is the lowest that it's been in 30 years for the first quarter of this year. Now, that's an interesting number that we haven't talked about a lot. Turnover has been high really the whole time I've been in this industry. Crazy high compared to any other industry you look at. But now we have large fleets starting to say their turnover numbers are coming down. That's important. Hold that thought. So then I started looking at every other indicator, financial indicator I could find in trucking. So there are several different firms and different people that follow trucking and forecast where we're going and look at rates and the conditions. And most of the time, I look at this stuff every week. But most weeks I look at truckstop.com's indexes and I go from there. Today I thought I'm going to go look at every index I know of. And there are many. Plus I looked at fuel price, finance rates, all kinds of different things. And here's the interesting thing. I can't find one negative piece of news about trucking. Not one. I couldn't find a single index or number or rate that isn't setting records. It looks like most analysts think that we are going to flatten out somewhat for the rest of this year, although that might change. And even if we do flatten out, that's not a bad thing. We're at record-setting levels for almost everything right now. One of the indexes that I follow started in 1992. And this index looks at all the things I just talked about. It looks at freight volume, freight rate, carrier capacity, fuel price, and finance rates. And it combines all 5 of those numbers into a score that tells trucking companies whether we're in a positive environment, a negative environment, or a neutral environment. So the way an index works is you take a bunch of different numbers, or at least 2, and you create a score from multiple numbers. Now, the score itself is meaningless. You just use that score to watch what's happening over time. So this index has been around since 1992. So 0 on this index would be neutral. 0 wouldn't necessarily be bad. 0 just means, well, it's just a neutral environment for trucking. Nothing really great, nothing really bad. Anything below 0 is negative. Anything above 0 is positive. Anything that gets into 2 digits, low or high, means things are really changing. So when you get to 10 above or 10 below, things are really changing. Now, last week, that index set an all-time record. It's been around since 1992, and it hit 15.41, the highest number that index has ever shown. Every other index I looked at setting records. Fuel prices, although they're not crazy high right now, set a record last week, the highest they've been in 3 years, since the beginning of 2015. It almost seems like we're coming into the perfect storm in trucking. It is a really, really good time to be in trucking. Drivers are getting pay raises. I mean, even for company drivers right now, I've seen big pay raises, bigger than we've ever seen. Normally you see fleets announce, 1, 2, maybe 3 cents a mile is big news. I see fleets raising driver pay 10 cents a mile. So between the increased pay across the board, whether you're a driver, leased on to somebody, your own authority, doesn't matter. Money is in trucking right now. Fuel prices going up, which if you understand that, that's a good thing. If you don't understand that, call me and ask. I'll tell you why it's a good thing. And taxes coming down. So in 2018, it's very possible. Matt was on last night, and Matt, showed me his numbers through yesterday in profit gauges. Record-setting numbers. I mean, stuff I've just never seen. In all ways, the gross revenue higher than I usually see, net revenue way higher than we normally see, and his margin, his profit margin, higher. I mean, I'm going to have to adjust some of the numbers. I normally tell owner-operators to shoot for about a 50% margin without equipment payments in there. So whatever you gross, you should be able to keep half of it. And, a lot of times guys were at high 30s, low 40%, and I would get them to shoot for 50. Matt's been working on his operation for years. He's been at 50 many times. He is now at 60%, keeping 60% of what he grosses. Again, just numbers we haven't seen. Here's the warning, and I'm already seeing this happen. Because there's so much freight and because it's paying so well, shippers, brokers, carriers, everybody is begging for trucks. There are promises, if you have a truck, we'll keep it loaded at this rate. This is a great opportunity, but be very, very careful about expanding. It is a great opportunity, but you've got to really think hard about the driver situation. Pay is up, meaning if you put on a driver, you're going to have to pay much more than what used to work. So you got to think about that and make sure your operation can support that. And rates are up. That's a good thing. But turnover is starting to go down. That tells us that finding drivers is going to get even more difficult. You're going to have to pay them more. They're going to be harder to find. You really, really have to keep that in mind. If you are going to take advantage of this opportunity and expand, you better have a really good plan about how you're going to find, hire, pay, and retain drivers. Don't think you're going to buy a bunch of trucks and just, get on the CB or hang out on Facebook and you're going to have drivers in your truck. Not good drivers. So I'm not saying you shouldn't expand. Now is the time. But be very, very careful. And remember, these rates aren't here forever. So whatever you pay drivers now, it's really hard to take it away if rates go back down. Just keep that in mind. Lots of great opportunities, but you're going to have to do it smart. When we get back, we'll get right to your phone calls. Stick around. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
Are you a driver that wants to take control of your own destiny and have the freedom to make the choices that affect you and your loved ones every day? If the answer is yes,
then Stop Holding the Steering Wheel audio program was designed for you.
in this one-of-a-kind audio program, Kevin Rutherford reveals the secrets to running a successful trucking business, taking the plunge to owner-operator, finding and negotiating for a new truck, and managing money once you earn it. Are you willing to do the hard work? It's time to stop holding the steering wheel and start driving your business. Order your copy today and create the business you've always wanted. Visit our online store at letstruck.com or call our TribeCare Team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
Hey, AudioRoad listener, what is your profit per mile? How about your cost per mile, or even your bottom line? Stop driving blind and know your numbers. Profit Gauges is absolutely simple bookkeeping specifically for owner-operators. Have instant access to business and tax reports that will help you increase your profits and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Sign up for Profit Gauges today and take advantage of our 30-day free trial. Know your numbers and master the journey. Visit our website at letstruck.com or call our TribeCare Team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
Did you know that 35% of fuel economy can be attributed to your driving habits? Use the Scan Gauge KR to maximize your driving efficiency. The Scan Gauge KR has built-in and programmable digital gauges that allow you to read instant fuel mileage, average fuel economy, and dozens more gauges as you drive. Get to know your truck and learn how you can improve your fuel cost and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Drive smarter and master the journey. Get yours today at letstruck.com or call our TribeCare Team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
As a professional driver, there is no question that fuel is your highest cost. Fuel Gauges tracks each fuel up, provides your 30, 60, and 90-day miles per gallon average, also tracks maintenance and modifications. Best of all, it is completely free to use. There is no excuse not to use your miles per gallon and start improving your fuel economy. Download the Fuel Gauges app today and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Let Fuel Gauges help you master the journey. Visit our website at letstruck.com or call TribeCare Team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. The number to join us, 8888 Road Dog. We're going to get right to the phone calls. We're off to Texas to get started. Dave, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for taking my call.
What can I help you with tonight?
I got a profit gauges question. My company is incorporated, so I pay myself a salary, one check per month, and I want to know if it doesn't seem like I'm entering that properly in my profit gauges. What I'm doing is I enter my net pay on the check, and then I enter all the tax paid. In other words, I enter both halves of the employment tax, and it just doesn't seem, I don't know if I'm doing that right.
No, actually you are. And there are several ways you could do this. There is no absolute right or wrong way. The payroll and all the taxes are more of a tax issue than a true accounting issue. So it'll get handled correctly on the tax return at the end of the year. So anytime we're talking about the business report, really what we want to do is set it up so that it makes sense to you. And this really is a logical way that you're doing it. This is the way I do it. It's not the only way, but this would be the exact same way I would do it.
Okay.
You can see total wages if you want, because that was the cost to your corporation.
Right.
And then you see your net and your tax. So I think you're doing it perfect.
Okay, it just doesn't seem right. It seems like the 7.5% or whatever of the employment tax that's associated with the tax. In other words, my W-2 half seems like I should leave that off of there. But you say you think it's okay the way I'm doing it.
Yeah, like I said, we could get crazy with this, and we could separate it into employers and employees half. But who really cares? I mean, it doesn't matter. It's all going to Social Security. It's all yours anyway. So I think the way you're doing it is ideal.
Well, I mean, the reason I asked the question is because then when I send in my tax statement, to my accountant, do they know that?
Well, that's where I said. That's where I said this is more of a tax issue than an accounting issue. How you account for it is really up to you, and I like the way you're doing it. What I would do, though, is I would talk to your tax preparer and say, here's how I'm doing it. What will you want at the end of the year? Because, again, this is a tax issue that we only have to work out once a year.
Right. Well, this is, the tax is the corporate tax on March 15th, and then my personal tax. That's why it seems so goofy to me. I don't know. As soon as you guys open up your service, I'm gonna enter, or I'm gonna try to employ you to do my taxes for 2018.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, now, will you guys also be able to do a payroll too?
Yes, we can do payroll.
Or do I keep or do I? Oh, okay. All right, because that would only make sense that the firm that's going to do my taxes should be doing my payroll. It's so much easier.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why we do corporate payroll, because we do so many corporate tax returns.
Great. All right. Well, that sounds good. Yeah. You make sure you let us know right away when you open that back up.
We'll do.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Take care. Have a great night. Let's head off to Arizona. Alan, welcome to the program.
Good evening, Kevin, and thank you again for taking my call. I've got a question about engine oil. I've got a Fitzgerald's glider truck that I just purchased last September. It's got the Series 60 Detroit in it, and I've been running Rotella oil in it since I purchased the truck. I am burning a gallon of oil every 10,000 miles.
Okay.
And the Detroit that I had prior to this, that was the normal for it. the reason I'm calling you to get your opinion is I was talking to the guys over at OPS about putting an OPS filter on this truck, and they seemed concerned over that gallon every 10,000 that I'm burning.
Oh, no.
Tell me, what's your opinion?
Yeah, so what we've got to be careful of is we have to be careful of old thinking. So right now in today's world, if you look at the new modern diesel engines, the DD15 was the first. When the DD15 first came out and people started calling me, and I'd be reviewing an oil sample, and I would say, you have 50,000 miles on this oil, and it says you haven't added any. And they would say, well, I haven't. And I at first I thought, oh, that's got to be a mistake. Every diesel engine I have ever owned, worked on, known about, they all burn oil. It's just common. Well, not anymore.
Right, exactly.
Right, but not anymore. Okay. The DD15 will go 50,000 miles without a drop of oil. Happens all the time. The PACCAR MX engine will do the same thing. I believe the new X15 is probably going to be the same way. They have really made improvements in ring design, materials, cylinder, all kinds of things, and we can now actually have a large diesel engine that just doesn't burn any oil. But we don't want to get to the point where we think that 10,000 miles a gallon is excessive. It's just not. On a Series 60, on an N14, on a, the cats were a little tighter, but every now and then you'll get one of those engines that will burn a gallon every 15,000 instead. But 10, I really don't see it as a problem. And I actually like it a little bit. Here's why. If you're running the OPS and you want to extend your drains, what happens on these engines that don't use any oil at all is the base starts to degrade. We start to get, because remember, if you burn a gallon, that means you're putting in a fresh gallon every 10,000 miles. That, brings the base back up. It cleans everything up a little bit. Our additives all come back up again. So it's kind of interesting that we have diesel engines that don't need additional oil, but a gallon every 10,000 is just such a minor cost, and it actually keeps your oil cleaner longer.
Okay, another question on top of that then. I've been running Lucas in this engine since about 30,000. I've got coming up on 75,000 miles on it now, and I've been running Lucas in it just because I've got a good friend that ran it in his ISX. They told him, yeah, you'll be lucky to get 800,000 out of this overhaul. He got 1.2 out of his ISX.
Yeah, hold on though. Don't
since day one.
Don't attribute that to the Lucas. I have recommended Lucas many times. Love their products. I would never put Lucas oil conditioner in a healthy engine. All it really does, and it's when I say all it really does, this isn't a bad thing. There's a purpose behind it, but it's basically an oil thickener, and it's a heavier weight, and it has no base or no additives. So every time you put in a gallon of Lucas instead of a gallon of oil, you're making your oil thicker, which will hurt your fuel economy, and you're diluting the base and the additives. So if we have a healthy engine, I don't believe in any oil additives whatsoever. A good quality oil, and Rotella is an excellent oil. See, I go the opposite. I don't want thicker oil. I want thinner oil. That's why I go to synthetic. It's why, I'll push the limits on a 30 weight instead of a 40 weight, because the thinner and lighter we make that oil, the less the engine has to work. The more horsepower we get to the ground, the better fuel economy we get. Synthetics are good for the engine anyway. So I would... Now, here's the other thing that might be a little interesting. Adding a gallon of Lucas will actually slow down oil consumption some. So it might be interesting if you don't put the Lucas in to see if this truck starts burning a gallon at 8,000 or 9,000. Don't be surprised if that happens. I still wouldn't consider it a problem.
Okay. Well, I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm coming up on, in my mind, the oil change. I'm old school, thinking of every 10,000.
Oh,
so,
that's really old school.
And that's part of why I want. That's part of why I wanted to go to OPS.
Yeah, I would. My philosophy, I'll give you mine, it's at the other extreme. I would install the OPS. I would go to a full Rotella synthetic, a T6, and I would sample and change the filters at 25,000 miles, and then not change the oil till the sample says so. All right, I'm going to get to a break. We'll be right back. Stick around. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
Hey, AudioRoad listener, what is your profit per mile? How about your cost per mile, or even your bottom line? Stop driving blind and know your numbers. Profit Gauges is absolutely simple bookkeeping specifically for owner-operators. Have instant access to business and tax reports that will help you increase your profits and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Sign up for Profit Gauges today and take advantage of our 30-day free trial. Know your numbers and master the journey. Visit our website at letstruck.com or call our TribeCare team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
Did you know that 35% of fuel economy can be attributed to your driving habits? Use the Scan Gauge KR to maximize your driving efficiency. The Scan Gauge KR has built-in and programmable digital gauges that allow you to read instant fuel mileage, average fuel economy, and dozens more gauges as you drive. Get to know your truck and learn how you can improve your fuel cost and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Drive smarter and master the journey. Get yours today at letstruck.com or call our TribeCare team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
As a professional driver, there is no question that fuel is your highest cost. Fuel Gauges tracks each fuel up, provides your 30, 60, and 90-day miles per gallon average, also tracks maintenance and modifications. Best of all, it is completely free to use. There is no excuse not to use your miles per gallon and start improving your fuel economy. Download the Fuel Gauges app today and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Let Fuel Gauges help you master the journey. Visit our website at letstruck.com or call TribeCare Team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
Are you a driver that wants to take control of your own destiny and have the freedom to make the choices that affect you and your loved ones every day? If the answer is yes,
then Stop Holding the Steering Wheel audio program was designed for you.
in this one-of-a-kind audio program, Kevin Rutherford reveals the secrets to running a successful trucking business, taking the plunge to owner-operator, finding and negotiating for a new truck, and managing money once you earn it. Are you willing to do the hard work? It's time to stop holding the steering wheel and start driving your business. Order your copy today and create the business you've always wanted. Visit our online store at letstruck.com or call our TribeCare team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
Hey, have you heard? We have an app to make listening to our shows easier than ever. It's free, it's simple, it does one thing, and it does it really well. Download the app, open it, and listen to our shows. The Power Hour, Questions from the Road, Destination Health, and more. Listen live, listen anytime, and never miss a show again. To find it, search your app store for AudioRoad. One word. That's AudioRoad. It's one more way we help you master the journey. Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. The number to join us, 8888 Road Dog. We're going to get right back to the phone calls. We're off to Massachusetts. Mike, welcome to the program.
Hi, Kevin. How are you tonight?
Good. What can I help you with?
I just had a quick question. Looking at a 2018 680, 325 rear end, 500 horsepower MX-13, and a 13-speed automatic. What's your best guess on fuel economy?
Somewhere between 5 and 8. Just kidding. The reason I say that, though, if everything works right, these are actually really good specs. If everything is functioning correctly, and I'm talking about a general operation here, dry van, not running faster than 65 most of the time, that kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, I usually run between 60 and 62, all about under 25,000 pounds.
In that case, if everything's right, this truck should get 8.5, no problem. Will it? I don't know. I've seen this MX engine sometimes get 5.5, and nobody knows why. It's why I'm still a little nervous about this engine. I like it, and I think it has a ton of potential. There just aren't enough people that know how to work on it, so it's a little risky. But this could easily be an 8.5 mile per gallon truck.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. That should open up a phone line or two. Looks like we dropped a couple of calls. So if you want to dial right now, you should be able to grab an open line, 8888 Road Dog. I'm going to head off to Oklahoma. Eddie, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing?
Doing good.
I have quick questions. I may lose here. I'm going to ask about quick. I'm getting a new cattle trailer. I'd wonder if you recommend disc brakes on it, and what Michelin tires would you recommend for it? And I'm getting a new glider. I'm Peterbilt, and I wonder what you think about the Caterpillar 3406E. It's a 5 PS, 5 David Samuel engine, 16 liter, or 1M with the 16 liter. What do you think about those engines?
Let's go back to the trailer real quick, and then we'll get up to the engine. So, yeah, I am a big believer in disc brakes. I mean, at some point, there will be no such thing as drum brakes on trucks, because disc brakes are a much, much better technology every way. Easier to work on, lower cost, much, much better braking performance, no fade on long downhills. So, yeah, clearly thumbs up on the disc brakes.
I got disc on the truck, coating on the truck. I thought it'd be nice to have it all the way around the whole rig, And I've got Michelin tires on the truck, too.
Absolutely.
Sliders.
So, in that trailer, I would go with Michelin's the top-of-the-line dual trailer tire. The trailer-specific tire, I forget what I just drew a total blank on the designator. But their top-of-the-line trailer tire is the one with the lowest rolling resistance. So that's what I would put on.
Low profile? Would you put low profile on a spread axle?
Yes. Always low profile.
I've got tall rubber on the truck, so I was thinking low profile on the trailer.
Yeah.
Make the tires last longer, maybe.
Yeah, I would. Now, as far as the glider goes, I am not a big fan of 16-liter engines. I really think they're overkill for no real benefit. We can build a 15-liter that will produce just as much horsepower or torque, so there's no big advantage there. I mean, we can build 13 liters today that have way more horsepower and torque than we really need. So every time we make that engine bigger, it takes up more space, it gets heavier, it tends to use more fuel no matter how fuel efficient we try to build them. So, and I just don't, I've never seen a 16-liter that I was ever impressed with. I have said that of the 16 liters I've looked at, Cat probably made the best one, but I just never saw that it was necessary, and it raises costs.
Exactly. Well, the 15-liter I was looking at, 550 horse, 2WS motor. So I was just, I can't touch it for 4 years because it's going to pay chapter or warranty, so I can't do anything to raise the horsepower. And I have a lot of heavy side winds I'm always carrying, and it runs about this 550 horse.
There are lots of things you can do, even on an engine under warranty. I mean, a good tune, a good ECM tune is not a problem. So you can tune it, which is a great improvement.
Okay.
Things like the fleet air filter, a ported and polished manifold. We can get tons and tons of horsepower and fuel economy out of that and never even worry about the warranty.
So if I get the ported and polished manifold, it won't mess the warranty up?
Nope.
I tried to get them to do it, when they overhaul it, but they said they wouldn't do it. Caterpillar wouldn't do it when they rebuilt the engine,
Now, that's common. We used to fight, when we built a lot of gliders, we used to fight with Detroit all the time, too. We wanted to buy Detroit remans, but they absolutely won't put any aftermarket parts on them. So that was a little bit of a challenge. But you can certainly do it after the fact. And like I said, a good ECM tune. 2WS is a great engine. I think that's a much better choice.
That's probably what I'm going to go with. I've got an 18-speed 355 rear end coming in it.
Yeah, I think that'll be a great setup.
Okay. All right, man. Thank you for the information. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. Let's head off to Oklahoma. Joe, welcome to the program.
Good evening, Kevin. Thank you for taking my call. And I got to tell you, every time that I interact with you and your team, you far exceed my expectations. You have helped my business so much, it's phenomenal. And I want to give a big thank you to your tax service for this year. I used your tax service for the first time this year, and I was paid up with my accountant from last year. And previous years, I had found a few errors in my returns with them, but since I was paid up, I said, go ahead and prepare my returns, but do not file them. So I gave them the same information that I gave your tax service, and at the end of the day, my state tax liability was within a couple $100, but my federal tax liability was $11,000 less for 2017 with your tax service than it was with my previous accountant. So it blew me away. So I want to say thank you to you and your tax team. Amazing, amazing people. They did an outstanding job.
Well, thank you for the feedback. You just made my night. Any time I hear that we continue to exceed expectations, that makes my day. That's what we strive to do. And in business, it's tough. And in the tax business, it's really tough. But I couldn't be more proud of our tax team this year. Lisa's been heavily involved, Chris obviously, but everybody. I mean, our whole team. I could go on and on, but you're right. It was a tough decision for us to bring all of that work back in-house, but it's one of the best decisions we've made.
Right.
So thank you for that feedback.
Well, oh, you're welcome. Yeah, like I said, an awesome job. I don't settle for average in anything that I do, and when I seek out, people to do business with, I look for an exceptional experience, and that's what I get every time from you. So I wanted to say thank you for that. And I got a question, though. We did change my filing status, so I'm an LLC filing as an S-Corp this year. I haven't paid myself a salary yet this year. I said for the first quarter I was just going to build up some extra capital because I'm adding equipment and drivers and whatnot. But I'm about at the point where I want to start paying myself a salary, and we came up with a figure of $40,000 a year. I was wondering if you have concluded whether or not I can include per diem as part of that, or if not, if I should just not bother to pay myself per diem and just take the deduction at the end of the year.
I'm on the fence about it. We can save some additional money by taking that. You know what I would probably do, and we've been waiting for today, really, to get through the 2017 tax season to really start focusing on new strategies for next year. What I'm thinking is we might have to find a balance in there somewhere where we might have to say, look, if we try to pay $40,000 and we're going to call $15,000 of it per diem, we might be pushing it just a little bit. I tend to like to push the envelope on taxes, and I think we could get away with it. I've consulted some people that really understand per diem. They're also a little more conservative. So they thought, yeah, you might be pushing it a little bit. The other possibility, and I just need the time to run a bunch of numbers, is upping the pay a little bit. It's all your money anyway. Maybe we up it to $45,000 and then take $15,000. So I wish I had a definitive answer for you, but I don't yet. We're going to play around with those numbers a little more. You want me to carry you through the break?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hold on. We'll finish that thought up when we come back from the break so I don't have to rush it. We'll be right back. Stick around. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
Join us for the 2018 CMC Live Seminar, the biggest, baddest educational event dedicated to the trucking industry. This event takes place September 17th through the 21st at the Mid-America Center in Council Bluffs, Iowa. This 5-day seminar focuses solely on the unique challenges and opportunities that truck drivers face every day, not only on the job, but in all facets of life. Learn from the industry's top leaders, network with fellow drivers, and start running more effective and profitable businesses. Spots are filling up fast. Don't miss this opportunity to take action on your business, your life, and your future. Together, we can help you master the journey. Register online at letstruck.com or call our TribeCare team at 855-800-FUEL with any questions. That's 855-800-3835.
Hey, AudioRoad listener, what is your profit per mile? How about your cost per mile, or even your bottom line? Stop driving blind and know your numbers. Profit Gauges is absolutely simple bookkeeping specifically for owner-operators. Have instant access to business and tax reports that will help you increase your profits and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Sign up for Profit Gauges today and take advantage of our 30-day free trial. Know your numbers and master the journey. Visit our website at letstruck.com or call our TribeCare team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
Did you know that 35% of fuel economy can be attributed to your driving habits? Use the Scan Gauge KR to maximize your driving efficiency. The Scan Gauge KR has built-in and programmable digital gauges that allow you to read instant fuel mileage, average fuel economy, and dozens more gauges as you drive. Get to know your truck and learn how you can improve your fuel cost and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Drive smarter and master the journey. Get yours today at letstruck.com or call our TribeCare team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
As a professional driver, there is no question that fuel is your highest cost. Fuel Gauges tracks each fuel up, provides your 30, 60, and 90-day miles per gallon average, also tracks maintenance and modifications. Best of all, it is completely free to use. There is no excuse not to use your miles per gallon and start improving your fuel economy. Download the Fuel Gauges app today and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Let Fuel Gauges help you master the journey. Visit our website at letstruck.com or call TribeCare Team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. Well, no sense in giving out the phone number. We've got calls. I'm going to get right back to it. I was talking with Joe in Oklahoma. So, Joe, I wish I had a more definitive answer, but we're We've run all the calculations we can possibly run right now. I've created spreadsheets. I've done the models. I've done comparisons over and over. I don't want to get tripped up by something we don't know yet about this tax change, and we haven't seen the forms. There are still some open questions about how some of this stuff is going to work, so I hate to commit to anything yet. So right now I'm sitting back. I feel like we're ahead of the game. We understand everything we can know about this right now. And as soon as the tax forms are out, that'll be our top priority. And then we'll be able to put out some guidance. Like, here's a way we think you can do payroll. Certainly for all our payroll clients, we'll help them with that. But, I'll certainly help people here on the air as well. I'm thinking that there is going to be a way we can have the corporation pay the per diem and get an advantage out of it.
Okay, that's good to know. I think in the interim, until we get a final determination, then I'm going to go ahead and just calculate what my monthly salary is based on, $40,000 a year from here out, and go ahead and pay myself that minus any per diem. And then if we come up with something, I could easily go back and adjust those numbers if necessary, or just start paying myself out per diem when we get a determination. Because even if I pay myself $40,000 a year and don't claim any of that as per diem, that's a lot better paying payroll taxes on that than the $96,000 that I pay payroll taxes on for 2017. So I'll still see a savings regardless.
Absolutely, yeah. The good news is 2018 is going to be a great tax year. There's no question about it. Like I said, I've run the numbers so many times. We want to make sure we maximize it. So if I can do the corporate per diem and squeeze out, another $1,000 in savings, we'll do that. And like you just said, adjusting payroll towards the end of the year is not hard.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for the information as always, and thank you for exceeding my expectations at every turn. From your courses to scan gauge to accounting, sir, it's just an amazing experience. So thank you. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. Boy, I'll tell you, go to bed with a smile now. What a way to finish out the day. Let's go to Idaho. Jim, welcome to the program.
Hello.
What can I help you with tonight?
I got a question on the synthetic oil on older engines.
Yeah.
I've got two ProStars. One's got the IFX 135 coming. It's got about 300,000 on the engine. And 300,000 on the engine, and I've been using Bertella C4.
Okay.
And I was wondering if it's safe to move up to synthetic with that many miles on it.
Yeah, I don't I don't do this by the mileage. I do it by oil consumption. So how often do you have to add a gallon of oil to this truck?
I usually serve at interval 15,000, and I don't add any.
Oh, then absolutely.
It usually burns.
Yep.
I get down to about a gallon. Usually I'm about halfway to the add line.
Oh, that's a really tight engine, and absolutely you could go to synthetic. Now, you might see that with synthetic...
Is it full synthetic or the blend?
I like full synthetic. There are some benefits to the blend, but there are more benefits to the full synthetic, so I would go with full. You might see that with synthetic, it is a lighter, thinner oil. You might have to add a gallon at 12 or 13,000. Maybe not, but you might. And again, that wouldn't be a bad thing. So this engine clearly...
I was asking about the blend. I've got a Kenworth with the PACCAR 13.
Okay.
And we've been running a blend on it, and it don't use any.
Yeah, you can do either one. I prefer full synthetic, and I'm not concerned about the oil consumption. If it burns a little more with full synthetic, it's not a bad thing. And this is clearly a nice, tight engine, so this is a great engine to switch over to synthetic.
So what I do about the interval, though, because I've been changing at 15, what would you say I'd have to go
Well, there's
too costly to change it every 15.
It is too costly to change every 15, I agree. So there's two ways you can do this. You could just keep sampling to see where that point is. Every engine is different. This engine might go 25,000 miles just fine, might go 35,000 miles. I wouldn't push it much beyond that. And one way to know where your interval should be is by oil sampling. So instead of changing your oil
sample every change.
Okay. Well, what we want to do is sample and not change. So when you get to 15,000 on the synthetic, you would take a sample and just keep running the truck. When the sample comes back, if there was a problem, then we could go change it. If it was clean, then maybe we wait till 20,000 and sample again, or 25. And we sample until we see that we're starting to get some contaminants built up in there. That's one way, and then you would know. You know, maybe it's 25, maybe it's 30. The other way is to put on a bypass oil filter and not change the oil ever until your sample tells you you should.
All right. And then my other ProStar, it's got the Max Force 13N. It's not the one they had all the trouble with. It's a newer one with the Cummins after treatment.
Right.
It's got 400,000 on it.
Okay.
And I'm using Rotella T4 in it as well.
Yeah, that would be another good engine to switch to the T6.
Okay. I didn't know. I know the synthetic is about twice the price, but I didn't know if it was beneficial enough to do it or not.
It is, but you are correct. It's beneficial, but you really can't change it at 15,000 miles or you lose all the benefits. The benefits are it's a better oil, protects the engine better. It also will improve fuel economy, so there's some savings, but not if you're changing it every 15,000. Like I said, I really, really recommend a bypass oil filter. I mean, you can look at ours in our store at letstruck.com, the OPS. You can look at the others on the market, but that's the way to really make synthetic cost effective. And it's just really good for your engine. Let's go to Iowa. Jesse, welcome to the program.
How are you doing? I was just got a question, actually a couple questions. When is the best time to do an in-frame on the truck? What mileage rate would you say for a 16 ProStar?
Well, I'm not a big fan of doing anything by some random number, just like the last call. When should you change your oil? Well, I like to change it when the sample tells me I should, because any number we pick is going to be wrong. It's just a guess. It's an average. I prefer, if we have a way of measuring something, I'd rather measure it. That goes for this question. When should we do an in-frame? Really, the major indicator of when we need to do that in-frame is oil consumption. So when we get to a point where a truck is using a gallon of oil every 5,000 miles, it's time to get the in-frame on the schedule. You don't have to do it right then, but I wouldn't think much more than 6 months past that. So if you get to that point, you're putting in a gallon every 5,000, I would start looking at my schedule and say, okay, when do I want to take a week off? And when can I get it into a shop and, plan for it and that kind of thing. When it gets to a gallon every 3,500, then it's time to get it in the shop and get it done.
All right. And the other question was, I called International. They told me it's between 9,000 to 10,000 to do one. So I was just trying to get like an estimate of what it would cost to come up.
Navistar told you they could do an in-frame for 9,000 or 10,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're way off. Boy, I haven't seen a $10,000 in-frame in a couple decades. I would budget at least 20. For one thing, there's parts in there. If they're doing, you don't want to do the lowest cost in-frame because it will end up costing you more later. Because the only way they can drive the cost down that low is just not to replace a bunch of parts. and you're spending all that money on labor, and then they're going to skimp on parts, and it's going to cost you later. So, yeah, there are certainly cheaper in-frames you can get done if you don't replace all the stuff. But I would budget at least $20,000. Now, I have seen, when we built like a signature engine, we can spend $40,000 on an in-frame, and it's not even that hard. I don't know who gave you a quote of 10, but I'm not sure what they were smoking. And if they can do it for that price, I don't want it. It's just not even reasonable to think you can rebuild that engine at that cost. All right, there's the music. I've got to get out of here. We will see you back here tomorrow night. Check out the website. It's letstruck.com. Be safe, be profitable, be fit and healthy. Always do the hard work and master the journey. I'm Kevin Rutherford.